Did you put it on the inside? But I have painted it once. I think it just too bad.
Yo, good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. But go get somewhere, go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. Yes, sir. And if you're new to the program, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right, we're coming live from South Africa, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Go get somewhere, get situated so that you can learn how to heal yourself, okay? And you cannot heal yourself unless you know thyself. We make sure we teach you guys about the human frame and the human design so that you guys can be well on your way to the happiness, the wholeness, and the wellness that you deserve. All right. So this is a free information station. You guys don't have to pay for anything that you hear here today. All you simply got to do is pay attention. How we do that on the HerbMan Show is by double tapping that screen and getting us up to 100,000 likes during the live broadcast. Trust me, I'm going to work for those likes. All we ask you to do is do your part, interact, share, follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff, so we can make sure that this word gets out to as many people as possible. Okay, as many people as possible. All right, you guys. So you guys already know what we've been teaching you guys. Okay, your owner's manual. Okay, your owner's manual. Everybody got one. Everybody needs theirs in their possession. Everybody has an owner's manual, and everybody needs theirs in their own possession, so that you can get the three fundamental things that a owner's manual will give you. It shows you how to get the longevity out of this life experience. It'll show you how to get the usage and the most usage out of your experience here. And it'll also give you an opportunity to get optimal performance out of your piece of equipment called your life experience. Okay? And all we need is what every other piece of equipment need: the manufacturing number and the model number. That is simply your birthday, okay? Without having to do a blood test, a blood sample, a urine sample, stool sample, house sample, without having to get that live culture from that little nasty bump down there. This is non-intrusive, non-invasive. We ain't worried about sound therapy, sound bowl. We ain't worried about Reiki. We're not worried about all these different kind of things. We just go straight off the birthday. It holds the most information. So as I move along and teach you guys about the stuff I'm going to teach you guys about, understand that we're always referencing the owner's manual, okay? We're always referencing the owner's manual. So for a lot of us, we've been hearing all these different things, and I want to start from where I left off a little bit of yesterday, okay? Everybody wants one solution. Every single person is looking for one solution. And how you know you're looking for one solution is when you're trying to narrow everything down to one problem. So for over years, we heard that sugar is the problem. Okay, how many people heard sugar is the problem? Put a 1 in the chat. For years, we've heard that mucus is the problem. Okay, for years, we've heard that parasites. Why the problem keep changing? This was the culprit just a few years ago. This was a culprit years back. Now this is the culprit now. Which one is it? So you thinking in your head that if you can come up with one problem, all you need is one solution. That's why they'll keep changing these things on you. You're thinking sugar one day, then it'll be mucus another day, and then it'll be parasitic another day. The reason why they keep on changing problems is because they're gonna keep on changing solutions. These aren't the problems. So the reason why rest isn't working for you And the truth about why you still feeling fatigue even after you sleep, it's because of dysregulation. And sleep isn't enough if you're dysregulated. Uh-huh. Somebody put that in the chat, please. Sleep ain't enough when you're dysregulated. Medications ain't enough. Meditations ain't enough. Church ain't enough. Reiki healing ain't enough. Sound bowl, bioresonance frequencies, they're not enough. When you're dysregulated, herbs ain't enough. The massage therapist ain't enough. The chiropractor, the homeopathic, the naturopathic, it ain't enough. How many of us have said, okay, I'm tired, I need some rest, I just need some sleep. And then you go right back down and you sleep and still feel tired. Or you rest, but you still don't feel like you're restored. Or you even took time off of work, but you still feel drained. How many of us have felt that? Put some ones in the chat. How many of us have felt that? That I felt like I was tired. I felt like I needed to rest. I felt like I needed some sleep. But once I got the rest, I still was tired. Once I got the sleep, I still felt restless. Once I got the time off, I still felt drained. If rest was the only answer, most of us would have felt better by now. So the real question is, why isn't rest working? Why rest ain't working? Somebody please put that question in the chat for me, please. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. We're talking about the owner's manual today, you guys, like we do all day, every day. If you are interested in your owner's manual, please DM us and someone will get you links that you need, okay? There's a difference between tired and dysregulated. And most people ain't just tired, they dysregulated. And so when you tired, that's cool. That's physical depletion. Oh, but when you dysregulated, what you doing for your nervous system balance? Okay? So you understand how rest is for tired. But what are you doing for dysregulated? Okay? Rest is for tired. But what you doing for dysregulated? And the symptoms of dysregulation, you got to know those things. When you're dysregulated, you can be wired, but you're still tired. When you're dysregulated, you can have racing thoughts that just won't stop. You can have shallow sleep, waking up every 5 minutes. You can have tension in the body, just feel uptight. You can wake up exhausted, and you just got 8, 9, 10 hours worth of sleep. Because the thing is that you can't rest a system that doesn't know how to turn itself off. And this dysregulation is what we're trying to teach you in your owner's manual. Regulating is what we're trying to teach you every day coming on to this live. Why your sleep ain't fixing it? Because sleeping only can work 3 ways, right? The sleep will only work if your body can rest, repair, and restore, right? That's when sleep actually works. Okay? That's when sleep actually works. When you can rest or relax, right? We can put the word relax here. When you can relax, repair, and restore. I always tell you guys it's a process to sleep. You can't just jump in the bed and think your mind gonna cut off. Your body may be tired, but not your mind. You can't just jump in the bed and just think it's gonna do that. You can't just keep watching TV and think that the brain don't hear what it's listening to. So therefore, you're staying overly stimulated. You can't just watch your cell phone thinking that you just gonna go to sleep like that. Your mind will study race. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to tell you that there is a process to real good sleep. And if you can't rest, relax, you can't repair. So if your system is stressed, if it's overstimulated, if it's tense right before sleep, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be getting good REM, good rest. By the time your REM kick in, you'll be done woke up. How many people wake up around 3 to 5 a.m.? How many people wake up between 3 to 5 a.m.? Put twos in the chat. Some twos in the chat. If you wake up between 3 to 5 a.m., put some twos in the chat. If you wake up, just all of a sudden, you just wake up between 3 to 5 a.m., put some twos in the chat. Y'all see how many twos popping up? These are the people that ain't getting no good sleep. Because the REM happens within this time. REM happens within this time. So if you're waking up within this time, you're not getting REM. And that REM is where this relaxing, repairing, and restoring happens. So if you're waking up between the hours of 3 to 5 a.m., you're skipping out on the majority of your relaxing, rest, repair, and restoration. I'm just keeping it high TI is. So therefore, sleeping ain't working for you. Yes, you are sleeping, but you're waking up at a critical time. That's that REM. Okay? That's that REM. So that's what you gotta look at and understand. All right, you gotta be able to tune out the music, young lady. Or whoever that is, you gotta be able to tune out the music. Oh, Milton. Okay, because some folks love my music. All right. So you gotta be able to tune that out and tune in to what I'm saying. So therefore, a lot of us is sleeping, but we're not recovering. Okay, we're sleeping, but we're not recovering, which means that we're still in a constant on state. And modern humans, we're living in this state. I'm trying to tell you why this shit ain't working. You can keep spending your money all you want to. You can keep shopping with anybody you want to. You can keep going and spending. I got insurance, so I don't even have to worry about it. Keep on. And the reason why it ain't working is what I'm teaching you. Okay, that's all I'm trying to get you to see today. So I could have put in the title the reason why ain't nothing working. No matter what you're doing, every time you do something, you're under remission, meaning that it can come back. The diet can come back. The drugs, the addictions can come. You always under remission. Stress is a good thing before spurts, but most of us are living under low level stress conditions all day long. So you're just never turning off. From phone stimulation, from information overload, from emotional tension to the work pressure that you got at work, to the household pressures, to the social exposures, all this stuff is going to result in some form of fashion, some nervous system imbalances. Some nervous systems stay on, that means that it's imbalanced. Cortisol stays elevated, that means that that's imbalanced. Body never fully relaxes. So now most of us is walking around here with hyperinsulinemia. Hyperinsulinemia is when your insulin levels are overactive, dealing with all this cortisol and all this sugar in the blood. So again, you think you're resting, but you're not recovering. And then when you are trying to do something, you're not resting, you're simply pausing stimulation. The body needs regulation, not just rest. Rest is when you're stopping activity, but regulation is how you're responding during the activities. It's being balanced during the activities. That's regulation. Okay? Because again, like I told you, you can lay down, but your body your mind can still be racing. It can still be thinking. It can still be processing everything going on today. That means that you are still up. That's not rest. That's just called inactive stress. Okay? So you got to be able to calm the mind as well. So the reason why we wake up so tired is because the mind didn't get that much rest. The body may have, but the mind didn't. So you wake up tired because your body spent the night processing stress, releasing tension, and staying alert all night. As long as that TV on, that radio on, as long as that cell phone on, your brain is on. And so instead of you getting some repair, some restoration, some recovering, instead of you getting some of this going on, you miss it. You went to sleep for nothing. You didn't even recharge. You're just surviving off that energy in that blood. That's all you surviving off of, that sugar. Okay? And so we got to be looking at what's keeping us dysregulated. And I'm telling you, it's this overstimulation, it's this emotional suppression, it's this poor environment, it's this lack of movement, it's this constant exposure to others. And these are a lot of y'all tendencies, but you don't know them because you don't have your owner's manual. Your lifestyle is keeping your system active. Even when you try to rest, you're still active. Because there's nothing that can calm the mind. What can I say to you that can calm your mind if you're dealing with stage 5 cancer? What is it that I can say to you that can calm your mind if you're dealing with a bill overdue or a mortgage or rent needs to be paid? What is it that I can do or say to you to calm your mind about a relationship that's reached its wit's end? What can I do that can calm your mind? What can I say? So instead of outsourcing and looking for words to try to get you to regulate yourself under these conditions, let me show you how. Put some ones in the chat if you want to get shown how to do this, right? Because it ain't nothing nobody can say. Mom dies, it ain't nothing that you can say to me. Children died, ain't nothing you can say to me. My spouse go leave, it ain't nothing that you can say to me. I lost my job and I'm struggling with these bills. It ain't really nothing you can say to me. So then you can show me how to do something, but it ain't really nothing you can say to me. Now, what can you say to me? I'm looking for solution. And I can say to you right now that if you can just close your eyes, lower your shoulders, drop your shoulders, just let them drop. Close your eyes. Put your hands in your ears. Breathe in your nose. Hum your exhale. Just do that 5 times for me. 5 times. Just close your eyes, close your ears, drop your jaws, drop your shoulders. Breathe in the nose. Hum out of the mouth. 5 times. Just do it for me. Close your eyes, close your ears. Drop your shoulders, drop your jaws. Breathe in the nose. Hum out the exhale. Hum out of your mouth. In the nose, hum out of the mouth. When you just drop your jaws and your shoulders and you allow yourself to relax, that gives you a new starting point. And that starting point is not boiling point. And every time we're overstimulated, when we wake up, when we're just trying to get everything done, we're already at boiling point. So that new thing, that new thing that comes into our radiance sometimes seems to be the one thing that'll make the pot spill over. Did it 5 times. Thank you so much. That's how you regulate yourself. That's how you get over the death of a loved one. That's how you get over the death of a relationship. That's how you get over the death of some bills that you probably just need to move on from. That's how you get over it. That's how you get over this stuff. You have to learn how to regulate yourself. Not resting, but regulating. Rest begins when you can feel safe. And when you can regulate before rest, with your breathing, your calming, your slowing down of things, when you can fix your environment just for a split second, a moment, to do this, to reduce stimulation, to get the proper sunlight, to quiet your pace, when you can fix your environment to give you this moment. Oh, yes. Come on, somebody. When you can walk away, when you can find that safe space, it may be in the car, it may be in the garage, it may be in the basement, it may be in the bathroom, it may be while you're on the toilet, it may be in your bedroom, it may be, when you're about to catch the bus, it may be while you're walking outside, it may be somewhere else. But when you can get that moment, you get your stuff, Move your body, release the tension, restore the flow. Support your system with the herbs you're getting in your owner's manual. Support the nervous system with the right combination of herbs. Right? Since 2019, anxiety has been the top issue that I've had to deal with in my practice. Some people may say herpes, but herpes been out here. It's just that people are now starting to realize that they can do something about herpes. But herpes been out here. But I'm just talking about like a real big uptick of maybe something that you didn't know was here, anxiety. And with the uptick of anxiety is also the uptick of high blood pressure. Okay? With the uptick of anxiety is also the uptick of gym membership. Right? A lot of people are going to the gym to try to get some of this anxious flow out. But I want to tell you that you don't need more rest, my brothers and sisters. You need a system that can receive what rest is, what regulation is. Again, you're not broken. You're just naive to what your true understanding, your true physiological capabilities are. When your system learns how to turn itself off, when it learns how to deal in regulation instead of stimulation, then your rest will finally work. Then things will finally work. Again, let me say this one more time. When you learn how to deal in regulation, somebody put that in the chat, please. When you learn how to deal in regulation, then you don't keep waking up at this prime time. This is prime time Deion Sanders for your body. And if most of us are waking up out of this prime time, are you getting the stuff? No. You're just getting sleep. That's all you're getting. You're just getting sleep. Thanks so much for the wonderful work. Yes, thank you, Nagy. What's going on, Koza? You see that? So if you are waking up at this time, you're depriving yourself of these things, and it's making it harder for you to be able to survive with what you got going on. Okay? So if you got issues going on and you're waking up between that time, that's the time that we need for you to fight like hell to rest in, okay? We got to get you to rest in that time. All right? That's prime time Deion Sanders for your resting, for your recovery, for your repair, for your rejuvenation, for your restoration, all of that. You must do it. How much REM do we need? Just in that time. Just in that time frame. Hey, it's my bedtime. Just in that time frame, right? So some people say 3 to 5, some people say 4 to 6. Is that REM? See, so there ain't nothing but 2 hours. It ain't nothing but a 2-hour gap. Okay? 2 to 3 hour gap is all we need. But most of us, as we get aging a little bit, we're waking up in these times, stopping the REM, stopping the rest, repair, recovery. Okay? Anybody else? How do I deal with this? I would like to order your manual. I'm in Canada. Okay, so if you're in Canada, you should be able to order it off of the website. If you're in Canada. If you're in Canada, you should be able to order off PayPal. You just go to the website, type in owner's manual. Canada is a friend of mine. That's where I used to get a lot of my herbs from out there as well. How do I deal with this? How do you deal with what? Rest? Or how do you deal with not waking up here? Okay. So in order for you not to wake up during the REM, okay, in order for you not to wake up during your REM, you would have had to have energy expenditure. Okay, energy expenditure, right? So you remember how we eat. So a lot of us eat a top heavy breakfast, we eat a top heavy lunch, and we come home and for sure going to eat a top heavy dinner. So you have a lot of energy going in the blood during bedtime, right? So most of us are having this food and then it's 10 o'clock before you know it, right? So now it's 10 o'clock and your blood is full of energy, okay? 10 o'clock and your blood is full of energy, right? You didn't put enough expenditure because you just basically ate and went to sleep. You was watching TV, they cooked the food, brought the food to the table, whatever, or brought the food in front of the TV. You ate and then you knocked out in front of the TV. She had to wake you up, tell you to go upstairs, get ready for bed. So therefore, there hasn't been a lot of energy expenditure. And because there's no energy expenditure, you're not as exhausted as you think you are. Okay. Exhausted. Now, the word exhausted is a twofold thing. Exhausted means to empty, but exhausted also means to exhaust all of my capabilities. I've exhausted all of those things, right? So my thing is here, we didn't exhaust all of the energy. We didn't exhaust all of the energy. So therefore, you're not as tired as you think. You're not as exhausted as you may believe. So you're getting good sleep. Okay. So let's say from 10 to 3 or 4, right? So from 10 to 3 or 4, that's when you slept. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So them little 5 or 6 hours, that's what you used to. That's what you're used to. So now 5 or 6 hours of 12 hours, let's say it's nighttime at least 12 hours. So 5 or 6 hours is roughly going to be 45 to 50%. So 45 to 50% is your battery charge every day. That's how you're operating. Every day, that's how you're operating. That's why you go to sleep on the couch. That's why you be yawning when you're in traffic. That's why you be sleep sometimes nodding off when you're on the forklift or when you at your computer. You have to get up and walk because your ass is gonna go to sleep. That's why you drinking up all them folk coffee. That's why you got them buying up all them folk Starbucks. Is because you are only operating at 45 to 50% battery charge every day, and you need all of those other things to supplement you trying to make it through your day. Why? Because you're missing the most important time, which is that 3 to 5, because you're not exhausted enough. You said, well, no, I'll be tired. I'm trying to tell you, you're not exhausted. See, what you got to think about is this. When people say, well, no, I'll be tired. Remember what I told you. You ate a good breakfast. You worked that off. Whatever you did, you worked your breakfast off. Now it's lunchtime. You went and got hot wings and you went and got some fries, right? That's a protein and a starch. Okay. A protein and a carbohydrate, both are going to give you what I think is what about 7 kilojoules. They're going to give you 7 kilojoules, right? So you got 14 kilojoules. Now fat gives you 9, but the proteins and carbs give you this equal amount. So I think it's 7 kilojoules or seven. It's like energy, right? Put it like that, it's like energy. So 7 and 7, that's 14. So you go and work out that 14 from breakfast because breakfast was full of protein and carbohydrates too. Then lunch come back, protein and carbohydrate. Boom. Okay. So then we can safely say that you probably worked a little bit of that lunch off because it was 12. You didn't get off to 4 or 5. So you walked, you typed, you thought about things, you had to print, copy, paste, walk around, piss, you're talking, you communicate. So you using some energy. But here's the kicker. Because that dinner is so action-packed for most of us, you eat another dose of energy that you don't do nothing on. See that breakfast and lunch, we'll say you probably worked that out, even though you didn't shit that out. Because working it out means you shitted it out. But just for layman terms here, you were still using some of that energy. But that dinner, that's the one that's hurting folk. Because you don't eat it early enough in the day and you don't expend that energy. That's just like going to the gas station, right before you get home, you go fill up the tank and you off for the next 2 weeks. That's what this is like. Right before you get home, you went and stopped that QT, filled up your gas tank, and ain't got to go nowhere for the next week or two. That's what you're doing every dinner. And that's why you wake up at 3 to 5 a.m. and you can't sleep. Because you're not as tired as you think you is. Because you didn't burn enough energy. Now, let's switch this night up. Let's say this night, this person is supposed to have a little sexual encounters. Okay, so they ate good, then they went up there and tried to have a little sexual encounter. Well, they burnt off a little energy that might allow them to sleep into this time. Depends on how long that went. So the reason why you're waking up between 3 to 5 a.m. is because you're not as tired as you need to be. You're not as exhausted. Everybody get that? Put some ones in the chat. Or do I need to explain it? So we're used to going our 45, 50% battery charge. That's why you need the coffee. That's why you need the breakfast. That's why you need this stuff, because if you don't eat, you'll go to sleep. If you don't be busy trying to stuff your mouth, you'll go to sleep on them folks' job. So you said, instead of me sleeping and I know I can't wake up, let me go get something to eat. It's all coping mechanism. It's all compensatory. You compensating one thing for another, but you ain't really that hungry. You just that bored. And when folks get bored, the first thing they tend to do is open their mouth. They tend to open their mouth, but you're not bored working out. You're not bored in movement. You're not bored doing those types of things. So again, dinner becomes the culprit. Dinner becomes the culprit. Dinner becomes the reason why the high blood pressure stays up, the reason why the high blood sugar staying up. Dinner becomes the reason why the diabetes, it can't go away. Dinner becomes the reason for your digestive system messing up. Dinner becomes the reason for the reproductive system issues. It's dinner. Because dinner is too close to bedtime, because you guys are not on your natural rhythms. I just ate. When did we eat? What time it was? 2. It was 2 o'clock. I ate at 2 p.m. I ain't eating no more. I didn't eat nothing before then. I ain't gonna eat nothing after then. Okay? So I can exude, I can burn. Dinner is your culprit. That's why you can't rest. You're eating too close to bedtime. It's not going to help you recover that fast. It's not going to help you get over any of your issues. Okay? Regulation is how the body responds to what you are doing during the. Yes, there you go. Your lifestyle is keeping yourself active. Yes, Anthony. Any other questions thus far of why rest is not working for you? Any other question thus far of why rest is not working for you? A couple of times I was choking in my sleep. Okay, you want to be careful of that. A lot of times your little flap at the top of your esophagus, there's a little flap. Okay, just a little flap there. Every now and then that little flap can come over. If it does come over your esophagus, obviously you will cough or do something to open it back up. Okay, but every now and then that little flap will come down. Okay, anybody else? Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the likes, for the shares. I don't want to miss any of your questions. Anybody else got a question of why rest ain't working? I want to make sure that everybody get this. We're live on TikTok, live on YouTube. You guys, if you guys got questions, let us know. Dream hours. The dream hours are the same thing, right? So your dream hours are going to be the same thing. It's the REM. The REM is your deep state. Okay, that's when you're in your deep dreams, right? That's when your eyes are flickering. Okay, that's between 3 to 5 a.m. or 4 to 6 a.m. in the morning. So it's basically a few hours right before you wake up. Okay, a few hours before you wake up, that's really when you're getting your deepest sleep, your REM. You're getting the sleep that you need to recover, repair, and everything is right before you wake up. Okay. So a lot of us are doing a lot of stuff, but that doesn't mean that your body is actually exhausted. Okay. And when you're not as exhausted as you need to be, because you don't put dinner in you that's gave you a lot of energy, then you're going to have problems. Now, how many people, I ain't even going to ask y'all that. What time is dinner for most of you guys? What time is dinner, and then what time is your bedtime for most of you guys? What time is your dinner, and what time is your bedtime for most of you guys out there? Peace, peace. Too late for both. Free bird, thank you for being honest. Dinner is when I eat. Yeah, that's too late. Working overnight and sleeping in the day, you already out of rhythm. See, anybody that's working overnight, you're already out of rhythm of nature. So you just asking for something to happen as far as physical self. Okay, all love on Mitch. You just asking for something happening because you should not be working when the sun sets. Nobody does that. You know what I'm saying? So you're automatically putting your body off rhythm. Okay. So watch out for hormonal issues. All love on Mitch. Watch out for hormonal issues. Okay. 10 p.m. and right behind dinner. Okay. So you're eating late. 6 p.m. salad, bedtime at 10. Okay. So let's give you 4 hours to try to get that little salad down. Okay, I hear you. I'm an Aquarius. Do I wake up because my hours are too? No. Hell no. You don't wake up for nothing. You stay on whatever processes that's going to take while you sleep as well. Okay. 11:30. Okay, dinner between 6 and 7, in bed by 10. Gave yourself about 3 hours there. Dinner by 6, bedtime by 10. Okay, that's 4 hours. It should be no later than 6 p.m. and sleep by 9 at the latest. Okay, Freebird, I hear you. Okay, I hear you. 4 to 6 dinner, 8 o'clock, I'm in the bed. Teresa, yes. So a lot of you guys are doing very good. Okay, a lot of you guys are doing very good. But the next question I'm going to ask is, are you waking up between 3 to 5 a.m.? That's my next question. Are you waking up between 3 to 5 a.m.? You got to mute your mic. Okay, so then Netta said yes. That means all you just did was sleep, but no recovery, no getting better. You see how a lot of you guys are going to bed at the right time, but you're still waking up at 3 to 5, right? So all you did was just sleep. You're still not getting that recovery. Okay? If you are still waking up between 3 to 5 a.m., you ain't tired enough yet. That's why you guys can't do this off of these little schedules. Remember that I told you were built for outside. Okay, the human anatomy was built for outside. You ain't tired enough. So just because you go and read a diet, just because you go and research some sleep times, just because you go and research that everybody's supposed to be sleep when the sun set, but you ain't tired. You haven't been outside, you haven't been in the sun, you haven't got drained enough to come in here and sleep throughout a night cycle. You need to be drained. And a lot of us say that we are tired, but we not the way that we should be because of the way our life is set up. So again, this is your last thing on your list, then you're automatically out of alignment. If this is the last thing you do before you go to sleep, you're out of alignment. Okay? If this is the last thing you do before you go to sleep, you're out of alignment. Anybody else? Why you put this screen over there? I didn't invite nobody. I've been talking. I didn't invite nobody.
I'm telling you, for me, the one, this one, because the other people are doing.
No, I didn't touch nothing.
I'm serious.
I haven't touched anything.
Yeah, but for me, you invited them.
All right, somebody said I believe you wholehearted. Kay Gladden, what's happening?
What's up, brother?
What's going on, Chief? Welcome to the HerbMan Show. How can I help?
I don't know how I got up here, but I'm just watching the information, man. I love watching your lives every day.
Oh, okay, man. You know, we appreciate you, bro. No problem, man. You know, I appreciate you. Just stay tuned. We'll drop you down.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay. So this is the culprit right here. At what time do we supposed to get up if we go to bed at 11:30? At what time do we supposed to get up if we go to bed at 11:30? You're supposed to get up every day, Nagy, at sunrise. Okay? Sunrise. So you can go and just Google sunrise. Whenever your sunrise. Normally it's gonna be between 6 and 7 o'clock. Sometimes it could be between 4 and 5, depending on if you at a particular part of the world or not. But you should wake up every day sunrise, around sunrise. Okay, that's going to differentiate between different seasons. You see what I'm saying? But dinner shouldn't be your last thing you do here. See, if you look at this right here, okay, you guys get this with your owner's manual. If you're interested in your owner's manual, just DM us. We'll get you this information. But here's the thing. I tell you guys this all the time. Taurus is a earth element. So you should eat right here, right? This is between 8 and 10 a.m. This between 12 and 2 is a water break, not a lunch break. Okay? The only other sign you got up here that represents the earth element is Taurus and Virgo. Virgo is from 4 to 6 p.m. Eat. Okay? So the only times I got to eat, if anything, is going to be between 8 and 10 a.m. That's break your fasting. And then from 4 to 6. Okay? Once 4 to 6 ends, that's dinner ain't the last thing I'm doing. See what y'all eating dinner and then bedtime is 3-4 hours later? No, dinner is, okay, the sun set. So now dinner is out of the way. The next things I'm doing is I'm resting and I'm going through the process of sleep. So I'm relaxing. I'm resting. And then I sleep. Right? It's a process. So after dinner, I'm going to relax a little bit. I'm going to rest a little bit. And then I'm into my sleep. But I do all of this. How you supposed to do all of this is without artificial sunlight. So when the sun goes down, the lights in the house should go off. Then you'll start relaxing. When the sun go down, the TV should start to go off. When the sun go down, the radio should start to come on to some calming music, calming frequencies. When the sun goes down, things should start to end. It's not only did I just finish dinner, but now I finished washing the car. I finished cutting the grass. I finished doing the prep for tomorrow, ironing the clothes, cooking for tomorrow. I am finishing up. So now this relaxation comes in, and then now you're resting, and then now the house is quiet. No TVs, no cell phones, no radios. And guess what? Sleep is in order. Now, when sleep goes in, you done all of this stuff at the right in the right time, so that when the sun was out, you was out there in the sun. Remember, you were built for outside. So when the sun was out, you was out there. You was doing your thing. You was doing your thing out in the sun. You were playing like a little kid again. Now when you come in, you tired as a bestie bug. You done burnt all of that energy. Now the body can rest, recover, and repair. If you're not healing, the only other thing the cells are doing is digesting. So either you put them in healing mode or they'll remain in digestive mode. Okay? Anybody else? If you're not healing, all they're doing is digestion. Okay? How to clean kidney filter so there's no protein in urine. All you need to do is you can go to my website and you can go and get the Panacea blend. Okay, adult entertainer. Go to my website and type in Panacea blend, and it'll help with all the stuff you just talked about for your filters, okay, for the kidneys and your protein urine. Panacea blend. All right. Anybody else? And so this is the important thing about your owner's man. Okay. Even what that brother just did. If he listened long enough, instead of just coming here wanting a herb for a condition, he would realize that those kidneys ain't no surprise. You got certain tendencies, adult entertainer, about you that you have been triggering for years that have ran you straight down a road that is no surprise. If I did your birthday, if I did your owner's manual, it would tell me that you got kidney function issues. And that was from a baby. I didn't say your kidneys were bad from a baby. I said you had a tendency to have bad kidneys since you was a baby. And all it took was life. You not knowing this information, life run your ass right into those bad kidneys. So the owner's manual is the number one thing you should be asking for when you come up on the live. Any other questions? So we now understand why we're not tired and why rest is not going to do it. Dysregulation can be eradicated by sleep. Dysregulation cannot be eradicated by sleep alone. And you need to be regulated when you take your herbs. You need to be regulated when you're taking your medications. You need to be regulated when you go to church. You need to be regulated when you're trying to do the great things in life that you aspire to do. And this is the art that nobody's teaching you, is how do I regulate myself? How do I regulate before a conversation with my spouse? How do I regulate before I clock in to work? How do I regulate before I go to class? How do I regulate before I meet up with my boss? How do I regulate before I go to see the judge? How do I regulate before I go and see the doctor? How do I regulate? So that when I'm in these situations, I'm regulated and they can't overstimulate me. That's the questions that you should be asking yourself. And those are the things we answer in your owner's manual. Anybody else? For all of my students out there, we will have class next Saturday, okay? Classes is next Saturday. So April the 18th, be there or be square. All right? Anybody else? So that's the biggest thing that I wanted to share with you guys today, was about the resting, because I know that we are doing a lot of stuff and we feel like this stuff is not working. And the biggest thing is just because nobody taught you about the regulation part of it, right? And how that regulation even looks within a person. And it ain't nothing but just calming you down. Like, don't be expecting anything, because everything has to come from you. Like, don't expect for burdock root to do no magic. Don't expect for yellow dog to do no magic. Don't expect for any of these herbs to do anything. Just expect for your body to respond to these things in the proper way, because it's your body that's doing everything. I have low vitamin B. Okay, Ray, if you got low vitamin B, that means that you have some issues going on with your gut microbiome. Okay, if you got stuff going on with your gut microbiome, I would encourage you to eat more fruits and vegetables. Get you some prebiotics. Unless them folks told you that you ain't got what they call bacteria in your gut. If you got bacteria, then you don't need probiotic. Probiotic gives you bacteria. But let's say your bacteria is doing fine, and you just need to give them food. The food for your bacteria is a prebiotic, and a prebiotic ain't nothing but fruits and vegetables. Eat more fermented foods. That will help you with your vitamin B, Ray. More fermented foods, more prebiotics, okay? And that's all you need, because fermented foods is going to be probiotic. So fermented fruits and vegetables, fermented foods, and also fruits and vegetables, and you'll get your vitamin B levels up. Okay, Ray? Yeah, that's all it is. Anybody say anything about vitamin B, you automatically want to go with that digestive microbiome and just start to feed it. Okay, remember that the best diet for humans are what? The best diets for humans is a high fiber, high good fat, low protein, a low carb diet. This is for the human that was built for outside. Okay? Okay? This is the diet of a human built for outdoors. High fiber, high good fats, low protein, low carb diet. Let me make sure that my YouTubers get this information. Okay? Everybody get that. So when you eat this type of diet and you are outside consistently, this diet will help you with cardiovascular diseases like high blood sugar and high blood pressure. This diet alone, with this type of lifestyle, that means that you have to be outside on this diet. This is not an in-house diet. This is an outside diet. This is an outdoor diet. High fiber. So you wouldn't need carbohydrates for energy, because we're going to swap them out for fiber. You wouldn't need protein for energy, because we're going to swap it out for high good fats. Remember that these two have 7 kilojoules worth of energy, where the fats have 9. So you can get your energy off of good fats, and you can get the quality of what you need from the carbohydrates from your fiber. Fiber also has carbohydrates. So you do high fiber, high good fats, you won't need high protein, high carb. Everybody understand that. If you do high fiber and high good fat, you won't have a need for high protein and a high carbohydrate diet. And you can burn this fiber, you can burn this fat, and you have more energy with it outside if you're outside. Now, here it is. You are a in-house person, right? In your car, in the warehouse, in the workspace. You are in-house individual, and you got the opposite of the diet. You got a high carb, high protein, low good fat, and low fiber diet. And you inside with that. Oh my goodness. You trying to burn the machine out, and because you ain't read your owner's manual. It'll tell you what type of gas. It'll tell you what type of voltage that the equipment needs, right? If you're in America, you know you got 120 volt for your hair dryer. You know you got 120 volt for your TV. You know you got this, that, and the third. If you got a car, you know you're going to need this type of battery or that type of battery, right? It's going to be in your owner's manual. So in your owner's manual, it has the type of diet for you. And for 99.9% of us that comes from some type of indigenous area, okay, then you got to see what your diet is. This is for the person built for outside. That means that this is for the person that was in a tropical climate or a hot and dry climate, an arid climate. If you was in a polar climate, it would be opposite. So if you from somewhere like Poland, you from Antarctica, you from Alaska, you from, then yeah, you could flip it then. But if you from Africa, the Americas, the South America, Africa, Australia, anything under that in that sign like that, right? This is your diet, and this was consistence of nothing but fruits and nuts, fruits, vegetables, and nuts. That's all this was. This diet was nothing but fruits, vegetables, and nuts, and some of the good grains like millet. Okay, like millet. If you like spinach, go to collard greens. If you like potatoes, go to yuca. Stop just eating potatoes. Go to yuca. Okay, go to the yuca. If you be eating cannellini beans or cannellini beans, go to your black eyed peas. Yeah, the yuccas. If you like potatoes. If you like potatoes, go to your yuccas. High fiber, high good fat, low protein, low carb for the consistent for the human, built for outdoors. Yes, thank you, Aunt. Appreciate you. Appreciate you handling my YouTubers there. Okay, so that's what we understand. So this diet also will give you good rest. So this is a sun diet. So people can call this the sun diet. Everybody call this the sun diet, but that means you got to have a certain amount of diet of the sun. This is the sun diet, but you need to also have a certain amount of the diet of the sun in your diet. Okay. So I'm in Florida too. What's yucca? Google it. Okay. I need the owner's manual. All you got to do is go on the website, type in owner's manual. You'll get your owner's manual. Okay. Go to the website, type in owner's manual. It'll come up for you, or you could DM me and we'll give you a link to it. All right. So that's the diet right there. Now, this diet, because it's a sun diet, sun is conducive to what? What's the other S word? Because this is a sun diet, right? We're gonna put this right here. This is a sun diet. Now you getting a lot of sun exposure, right? You on the sun diet, you getting a lot of sun exposure. Sun leads to what? It starts with an S word. Sun leads to what? Anybody know? It starts with an S. You know? Sun leads to what? It starts with an S. Thank you, Manny. Sun leads to sleep. Okay. Sun leads to sleep, you guys. You're built for outside, man. I keep trying to tell you I did. Okay, this is the way I teach, but I teach this in layman terms. I teach this in a way for you to understand what is happening. So a lot of you guys are dealing with low vitamin D. Low vitamin D, they told you that you had a lack of this. But I bet you 99% of all those cases, they have some sleep issues. The vitamin D is coming from the lack of sleep. That's also coming from the lack of sun. The more sun exposure you get, the deeper sleep you can get. The more REM you get, the more your ass is going to sleep past that REM. The more you'll sleep through the REM, the more you'll start to get that benefactor that the REM brings to you. The more sunlight, the more nighttime. The more sunlight, the more night sleep. The more sunlight, the more night sleep. The more sunlight, the more night sleep. And with that sunlight, I'm burning energy. It now becomes a part of my energy expenditure. So if I'm up with the sun and I set with the sun, I gave myself 12 hours. But if you in the car, then you went from your house, down into your garage, down into your car, from your car to your job's garage, into your job, from your job garage back into your car, from your car back into your garage, back into your house. How much sun exposure did you get? Out of 12 hours, how much did you think you get? I'm asking you now. Out of 12 hours of daylight, how much did you think you get living that type of life? You spent about how many hours in the car? You spent about how many hours in the car? We'll say 30 minutes there and back, right? 30 minutes to your job and back. So and you did that twice to get there, right? You had to get to your job and then you had to come from your job. So we'll say that's an hour of transit time. The sun was shining in your car. Okay, you work at a business. We all know that the business got sunlight coming through the windows, depending on if y'all got the windows open or if you sitting close to the window. So let's say you may get another 2-3 hours from work, maybe. Okay, so out of the 12 hours, you only got 4, and you wonder why your ass sick. Out of 12 hours of daylight, you only got 4, and that was just being generous. Okay, out of 12 hours of sunlight, you got maybe 4. So if sunlight is your recharger, you got 33% of sunlight. Now you on a 50% battery charge based on how you sleep. You on a 50% battery charge, and you only put your battery on the charger 30% of the day. How you gonna get your shit to charge up? Every day you're putting your charger onto the charger at 50%, but you only keep it there for 30% of the time. So you waking up undercharged and you're not allowing yourself to get charged up by the sun. So you're waking up at 50% battery charge, and then you only put your phone on the charger 30% of the time. That's allotted to you. Can't you see how you're in a loop to where you're never going to get well? You're never going to get balanced. You're never going to get recharged. So if I'm 50% and I go out and put it on the charger, I may get up to about 75, 80 before I take it off. And then I'm back down to 50. Put it on the charger, get up to about 80, back down to 50. So we're working between 50 and 80% battery charge. That's not enough sometimes when you're requiring everything it takes to heal. Especially when you got organ failure. You need everything it takes to regenerate, to recover. That's not going to be enough. Yes, I'm screwed working 12 hours overnight, sleep the entire time the sun is out. Yeah, brother, that's what I'm trying to tell you, man. You automatically are diametrically opposed. Okay? You up under that artificial sunlight, being in that warehouse, wherever you work at, you on the artificial light. Then you sleeping when the real light is there. Man, just things that we got to consider. We live in the cell phone life. Yes, sir. You definitely live in the cell phone life, man. Definitely live in the cell phone life. And you think about what you're saying right there, the cell phone, right? So the cell. The phone ain't nothing but communication. So it's how your cells are communicating. And remember that I told you the pineal is the instructor, right? It's downloading the instructions, but somebody got to decode them, decipher them. Somebody got to respond to them. So your perception is going to influence your response. So if you perceive this world to be just the way it is, then no wonder you don't have enough power to overturn your high blood pressure. You don't have enough physical power to overturn your diabetes. You don't have enough physical power to overturn your autoimmune disease, that AIDS diagnosis, that herpes diagnosis. You don't have enough physical fortitude because you don't know how to get it from somewhere. You don't know how to get it from nature. You don't know how to get your mind right. You don't know how to get your spirit right. You don't know how to get your emotions right. So how in the hell are you going to get your body right? You need your owner's manual. For that funky measly $50, the owner's manual is the only health-based assessment on the planet, nature-based health assessment, that's here to provide you what you need from nature. How much green space you need. Do you need to walk? Do you need to move? Do you need to do these things? How much of that do you need to do in order to bring balance back into your life? To get these cells to communicate phonetically. Anybody else got any questions before we get up out of here? All right. I'm so tired of having to be at work by 6:30 a.m. It doesn't feel natural to me. Yeah, I mean, you're waking up at that time, right? So you're waking up around that time. That's the time you should be waking up instead of the time you should be rushing to be at work. Okay. So you're just a tad bit too early to be clocking in, but at the same time, that's not too early to be up and to get ready for work. I just think that it's a lot of rushing that's happening in the morning. Okay. I think that's what that 6:30 is doing for you now. It's too much rushing. You got to rush to meet that deadline because again, you're just now waking up, you're just now getting into your mojo, and then you got to be at work at 6:30. I think that you're rushing to make that time because it's a little too early. But if you can try to push that back to 7:30 and still wake up at the same time, but get to work a little later, then it won't feel so rushed. Okay, Netta? So see if they can let you in around by 7:30. How much sunlight? 12 hours. Okay, you need 12 hours a day, 12 hours a night. Okay? 12 hours a day, 12 hours a night. Otherwise, the rest ain't going to work. Any other questions before we get up out of here? You guys, all this stuff is in your owner's manual. Please DM us if you need that. How is that possible for working in person? How is that possible for working in person? What you mean by working in person? Like if you got a customer service job? What you mean by working in person? Body, mind healing. Right. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you are out of nature if you can't do this. It's okay. It ain't like you didn't know this, right? It ain't like this the first time you know that. But if you say for working person 12 hours of sun, right? So if you got a job that is not allowing you to get this 12 hours, you are out of nature, and that's okay. Hopefully one day you'll fix it. You feel what I'm saying? That's all we're doing. We're just trying to let you know. Just like the brother that's working overnight. It don't matter how much money he making. It don't matter whatever he doing to survive. Hey, that's good, but he probably living a good life. But he is out of nature. That's got to be okay, but you got to be able to understand that. Just like Netta right there, we just talked about with Netta. Netta waking up a little too early to be clocking in, so she's rushing because that's out of nature. You see, she's telling you it don't feel natural to her, right? Because she's rushing. It hurt like hell. Every day, Netta trying to get that 6:30. Every day, Netta trying to get that 6:30. And she coming in there at 6:35, 6:40, 6:45. It's because it's not natural to her, because it's true. It's true. I work outside from 7 to 1600. Oh, yeah, you got a good job, V. That's a good job, V. Okay? You got a good one. Okay? That's a good job, V. All right? If your job have you exposed to nature that many hours, that's a good job. Okay? That's what you're supposed to do. Yes, a road builder. Yeah. See, now that's also a job that's more conducive of what we used to do in our ancestral time. So a road builder is a job that we know as ancestors, right? So that's a ancestral job that's gonna keep you going far longer than what you think. Okay, that's an ancestral job, a road builder. You feel me? That's gonna keep you in shape far longer than what you think. All right. Anybody else? Also for life path number one. Yeah, life path number one. You just got to be careful because you got that bone and tissue and arthritic kind of tendency. But as far as being out there in that sun should help you keep moving. That sun should help you with your calciums. That sun should help you just stay mobile as long as you can. Okay. Anybody else? So yeah, I feel that. Yeah, that's the only thing about it. Just watch your calcium. But again, as long as you're in that sun, it's gonna be way longer for you to come down with bad arthritis than the next person. A person who got arthritis that's driving a truck or who's living a sedentary life, it'll come down on them way quicker. But for you, because you're out there in the sun, you're moving around, you're sweating, right? And you're having to put a lot of this electrolytes back in, that's going to keep you vibrant, going to keep you going longer, keep the bones stronger, and keep that damage at bay for a lot longer than maybe somebody else that's living a sedentary life. What about okra water? Yes, okra is good. Anything you're able to share about herpes? Yes, it's curable. Why does the sun feel draining at times? Because you're not in it enough. Okay, you're not in it enough. You're not used to it enough. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, you're not used to the sun enough, so it's gonna drain you when you first get out there. You got to get used to it. Remember, you're built for the sun, but you ain't been out there in it. Once you get used to it, then it don't become as draining as it would in the beginning. Okay. Anybody else? Remember that the sun equals to sleep. So again, these low vitamin D issues, a lot of it got to do with sleep issues. But the reason why you can't sleep is because you ain't getting no sun. And the reason why you got vitamin D issues is because you can't sleep, is because you ain't getting no sun. So sleep and sunlight go together with vitamin D issues. And if your vitamin D ain't there, then now your calcium ain't there. Then if your calcium ain't there, then your vitamin D still low. Then that's also conducive to your immune system. So we know that calcium is going to play a part in what? Growth and development. That's that repair part of me when I'm asleep. Exercise it outside in the sun helps me during the summer season. Yes, go out there no matter what season it is. If it's cold, go feel the cold, then put on your clothes. If it's hot, go feel the hot, then put on your clothes. If it's raining, go feel the rain, then go put on your rain clothes. If it's stormy, whatever it is, go feel it first, then go and get dressed for the day. And the reason why you do that, I'm gonna show y'all this real quick. The reason why you do this is because you are now shifting your immune system, right? You're shifting your immune system from the peripheral to the internal. So when you go out there, all your reactors are at the skin. Okay? All your reactors is at the skin. Right? So all your reactors is at your skin right here. So they're coming out getting information to send back to the hypothalamus. Okay, how cold is it? Should we pull blood from the skin and internal to keep the internal temperature warm? Or should we put the capillaries out and sweat out, right? And sweat the heat out. So should we keep the heat or sweat the heat out? Which one we want to do? Should we keep heat or release heat? You start to exercise your immune system like this when you expose yourself to the cold, to the hot, to the wind, to the rain. You start to do that, and that is a muscle. And that's what's keeping you from being so allergy prone. It keep you so from being so immune deficient or so immune suppressant because you're able to work your immune system that way. I ain't say stay out there forever. Just enough to know it's raining. Okay, rain touched my skin. Let me get back in here and get prepared. Okay, it's gonna be a cold day today. I got the house standing up on me. I see it's cold. I'm going back in. Put on my warm clothes. Okay, it's gonna be hot today. I see it's gonna be burning up today. It's warm in the morning. Cool. Let me go ahead and dress for the day. Just enough to exercise that immune system. And when you go outside and expose, then your immune system has to come to the skin and then start to relay back to the brain on trembling, sweating, what to do with the weather. That's a muscle that you're building with your immune system just by outside exposure. Everybody get that? Put some ones in the chat. Outside exposure starts to work out the immune system. Okay? Outside exposure works out your immune system. Okay, put that in the chat, please. Outside exposure works out your immune system, right? And it works out that communication. Remember, cell phone, fanatically communicating with the other cells. So we want to make sure that not only is it working out my immune system, but it's also working with my nervous system. My nervous system is then working with my endocrine system. So I got immune system going, I got nervous system communication, and now what you just did was what? Psychoneuroimmunology. Now we back at ground one. Psychoneuroimmunology. The nervous system, the immune system, and the endocrine system. Psychoneuroimmunology. When we exercise that, that's when we're exercising full brain capacity. That's when we're at our most gifted state. Outside exposure works out your immune system. Yes, just like a muscle. That's when you're at your most gifted state. Now, who knows their giftings? Okay, so if you know your gifting, then you'll understand. The gifts: intelligence, communicator, intuitive, a doer. A doer. You got to do it. You got to do it. So what's happening is this is also affecting one's rest. So now one's ability to rest. Remember, when you're regulated dealing with an environmental stimuli, it's kind of like you're in rest mode. It's kind of like you're in even keel. Nothing gets you too high, too low. You go at everything in a regulatory manner because it's the long road that you're looking for, the 120 years, not the today issue. The issue is longevity. Yes, sir. Welcome to South Africa, boy. They be playing them oldies. Okay. So now in understanding that, then you must understanding that these are sometimes what's keeping you from resting because you're not doing your gift. You're not doing your gift. You get all this information in your owner's manual, you guys. If you are interested in your owner's manual, please DM us and we'll get you that link, okay? Yeah, there's nothing I can do. I told you, like this, like the old school neighborhoods out here. They gonna play music all night. It's Sunday out here. So that's our neighborhood DJ, whoever they do. Anybody don't know their gift. Maybe this could help you rest a little bit. Understanding the sun diet, understanding that these things you must get back in the set schedule with nature. Also, understanding your gifting can help you. Lupe, what's your life path number, Lupe? What's your life path number, Lupe? You guys keep tapping. Let's get us up to 100,000 likes during the live broadcast. We got about Looks like we got about 36 more minutes. I'll try to do some of you guys. Netta, what's your birthday? You know your life path number? Lupe said they don't know. 1221 is 33. That's a 6. 17 plus 2 is 19. So that's going to be a 1. So 6 and 1 is 7. Lupe. All right. So a 7. A 7 is a water sign. So you are a intuitive individual, Lupe. Okay. If you start surrounding if you start looking at your gifts as how you feel, right? If you feel something is wrong, it'll go wrong. If you feel it'll go right, it'll go right. So now control your feelings, Lupe. Okay? You're intuitive. All right. Same thing with the number 11, Netta. If you're number 11, you are a feeler. You are intuitive. Use that. 911. Okay, that's 20. So that's 2. 1980 is eventually going to be 18. Okay. So then that's going to be 9. So 9 and 2 equals 11. So body, mind, healing, life. You also are an intuitive. Okay. A life path 1. You are a doer. Right. Doer. You are an action person. You got to get it done. Right. The biggest thing for you though is go off of the plan, the structure, the detail-oriented thing. But you must do it. You are a doer. If you set your mind to doing something, it will happen. If you don't want to do it, it won't happen. If you do want to do it, it will. Always grateful. Life path 11, Netta, yeah, that's an intuitive. Life path 5, you are a doer. Okay, Shy Love, doer. Okay, thank you. 925, okay. 925, 75. This is Freebird. Okay, so 9 and 25 is going to be 34. That's a 7. Okay, 1975 is eventually going to be 17 plus 5. That's going to be 22. So that's a 4. 7 and 4, right? 7 and 4 is an 11. You are also an intuitive. See how there's so many intuitives on here today? Ayana Roberts, 811, 1977. 8 and 11 is 19. That's eventually going to be 1 and 9 is a 10. 1 and 0 is a 1. Okay. 17 plus 7 is 24. That's a 6. 6 and 1 is 7. That's a water sign. So you're also an intuitive. You see how many intuitives we got? Ayana Roberts. This is just your day. Life path 8. Okay. For fabulous business coach, a life path 8. Okay. So a life path 8, you are the intelligent one. Okay. Use your intelligence. So it is your mind. For the life path 8, it is your mind, your intelligence. Watch your thought life. If you think something gonna go wrong, it will. If you think something to go right, it will. Watch your thought life. Life path 3 also is intelligence. Okay. If you think something's gonna go wrong, it will. If you think it'll go right, it will. Watch your thought life. This is why you're not resting. Okay, goes along with why you're not resting. Not just because you're not getting these 12 hours of sunlight, not because you're just not eating that sun diet, but also it's because you don't know your gift. So you can't get rest. You can't get rest because you're trying to figure out your problem with another part of you instead of the gifting that's within you. Okay. Okay. Kay Gladden, again, life path 3. I just told you that your intelligence, your thought life is going to get you over the hump. If you trust in your intelligence, it'll get you to where you want to go. Okay? Anybody else? Anybody else before we get up out of here? You guys keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. Let's get us up to 100,000 likes on the live broadcast. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that the lack of knowledge about you is what's keeping you in harm's way of death, disease, and divorce. Okay? Yeah, you don't know your gift. User 1807 said that's where my anxiety comes in. Yeah, you don't know your gifting. When you don't know your gifting, it makes you restless. When you don't know what you're here for, you don't know what you need to use. Somebody else asked me the other day, I want to know about money, this, that, and the third. Look, woman, we ain't doing that for this. But at the end of the day, your gift is what it is. Now you just got to use it for however you want to use it. Okay? Use a 3787, the life path 7. Again, that's a water sign. So you are a intuitive person. Go off of your feelings. Find something that you can do that goes strictly off feelings, and you're gonna reap the benefits. Okay? Intuitive, a person who's a great confidant, a person who can put themselves in other people's shoes, an empath. That's going to be the intuitive person. Thank God. In your class, I'm about to learn. Oh yeah, okay. Your class, yeah. If you're in the class, you're definitely gonna learn this stuff, you guys. If you guys are interested in getting into the school, please let us know. We'll send you an email. Okay. Anybody else? When you don't know your giftings, it's hard for you to rest because you're trying to figure out your problems with other solutions than the one you were built to figure out problems with. When I realized that all I got to do is communicate my issues and my problems, life got better. I ain't necessarily got to be no overthinking them. I ain't necessarily got to be all this old intuitive stuff. I ain't necessarily even got to be all in the doing. But it's how I talk. It's how I talk. 410, 2003. 4 and 10 is 14. That's 5. 2003 is 5. 5 and 5 is 10. So there's going to be a 1. Okay. So Nagy, Salona, a life path 1 is a doer. That person needs detail, plan, structure to do it, to make it come to fruition. So if they write it down, there's some kind of way they can remember it. If it's got to follow a structure, a plan, some details. If that doer gets the blueprint, that doer will do the work. So doers need the blueprint. Okay. Life path 33 is a 6. Okay. So life path 33s, communication, some form of social communication, social media, talking to people, rapping, music, singing, some kind of way how you communicate through the arts, whatever. That's your way. It's a ray for life path 33. There is no life path 10, V. Okay, so if you're talking about a life path 2, we already talked about that. That's the water. That's a because you got too many numbers up there. V2, 1. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Blaziri, 10, 15. That's 25, right? So that's going to be 2 and 5 is going to be 7. 1980 is eventually going to be 18. So that's going to be 9. 9 and 7 is 16. 6 and 1 is 7. So that also is going to be a intuitive person. Okay. So I know you overseas based on how you did your birthday, Blazira. So you are intuitive. Your feelings are everything. Trust your feelings. Your feelings will get you to where you need to go. Life path 4, communicator. Okay, some form of way of social communication or arts and craft. That's what you're going to be doing. All right. And again, now that you know your situation, you can start to rest a little easy. Yes, Blazira. Now you start to rest a little easy. Okay, I know that I was an intuitive person. I know that I felt what I felt. Now I can start building my life off of that. Now I can look at my job and now say, what do I feel about the job? Now I can look at my relationship and say, what do I feel about it? Now I can look at my positioning in life and say, what do I feel about it? And now I can go off of those feelings. Life path 6, Desi, is a communicator. Okay, so what you say can get you the pathway to the life you want to lead, Danny. What you say can bring you the life that you want to live, Danny. Okay, that's a life path 6. What you say and how you say it, how you communicate yourself, right? Through social media, singing, music, whatever it is, your gifting is communication. If you can find a way to communicate how you feel about this paradigm through your mouth, through words, you will find a life for yourself. Okay, 5/8, 1973. 8 and 5 is 13, right? So 1 and 3 is 4. 1973 is eventually going to be 17 plus 3, that's 20. 2 and 4 is 6. So Nagy Salona, a 6 is a communicator. Okay, through sociable means, you can communicate, or through the arts, or through the music, etc., etc. There are several ways of communication. I like to say, watch how you talk to yourself. 4, 6s, 22s, and 33s, they all talk to themselves. So you watch what you're saying to yourself, because a lot of times the shit that you're mumbling and saying to yourself is the stuff that's coming true in your life. Okay? The stuff that you say to yourself when you're by yourself, that's the stuff that's actually coming true. So you want to be careful with those words. This for my partner. 920, that's 29, that's 11. So that's a 2. 1980 is going to be 18, so that's a 9. 92 is an 11. So that's a water person. So that person is also going to be a intuitive. Okay. That person is also going to be an intuitive. 620, that's 26. 2 and 6 is 8. 1967 is eventually going to be 16 plus 7, which is 23. That's a 5. 5 and 8 is going to be 13. 1 and 3 is 4, Sherry. So Sherry, 4, the life path 4, that's the communicator through arts, crafts, music, etc., etc. Watch what you say to yourself. Okay? Watch what you're saying to yourself. Now, here's my thing. Now that you know your gifts, when you go to bed, will this make you sleep a little easier? That's all I want to know. Is this information going to make you sleep a little easier? To know that you can talk your way through solving your problems. To know that you can feel your way through a solution for your problems. To know that you can do some stuff if you plan right to solve your problem. To know that your intelligence, that you're smart enough to figure out a solution to your problem. Does this help you? Does this help you? Because that's the real question. Is this helpful for you moving forward in your life so that you can start to get the right rest? These life path numbers, they've been throwing you all kind of ways instead of getting down to the nitty gritty. Somebody asked me the other day, well, they said the 4 is the builder. Yes, all of the air elements are the masters of something. So you got master builder, you got master teacher, right? So the 4 is the builder, the 6 is the healer, right? So then when you get to 22s, that's the master builder. 33 is the master healer. So it just builder, healer, master builder, master healer. All air elements. But how do you build? How do you heal? That's through communication. That's what the life path number is not teaching you. That's what this modern astrology, numerology, and bullcrap they're throwing at you. That's why you still spinning like a chicken with their head cut off. That's why you still lost. That's why we still in the wilderness. We've been had these instrumentations. Why aren't they being used the proper way? I don't know. But all you got to do is make this taboo, and you guys forget how powerful these tools are. These things are not only compasses, but they're also calculators. So what is that telling me? This thing gives direction and correction. Direction and correction, right? And the thing that a lot of folks don't want is the correction part of it. But this tool right here that you get in your owner's manual for that funky measly little $50, this little tool, this device is a calculator and a compass giving you direction and correction. It's the only health assessment on the planet to do that. Anybody else before we get up out of here? You guys, looks like we got about 21 more minutes. Any other questions? Anybody need to know their gifts? before we get up out of here, you guys, I appreciate all of the love, all of the support, man. Please keep telling people about us. Get these consultations. You need them. You need your health assessment. You need your owner's manual. You need the blueprint. You need it. You need it. You need it. And you need to get it now. Okay. Get it while the getting is good before these folks try to shut down all this stuff and you don't know what's going to happen. But at least you got your owner's manual. At least you got it for your children. At least you got it for your husband. At least you got it for your family so that everybody can be on par with what's going on. And even if you ain't got nothing else, you now know how to stay in tune with nature. You now understand that nature gives its own schedule. The next thing that I want to teach you guys about is how to decode the day. Okay? I want to talk to you guys about that in later videos. You need to understand how to decode your day. God speaks through nature. Every day, God is sending you a message through the day. You got to know how to decode that. So it's two things you got to know how to decode. You got to know how to decode the day, and you got to know how to decode your body. And when you can decode the day and you decode your body, you'll know exactly what you need to be doing for the day. Excuse me. You'll know exactly what you need to be doing for the day. And those are the two things that we're going to teach my students, but we're also going to help a lot of you guys here on the free social media platforms learn about decoding the day and decoding your body. Once you're able to gain the messages of the day and your body, you know what you need to do. So if I ask you guys this, which one sets the trend? Your body or the day? Which one sets the trend? Your body or the day? Blazera said the body. Okay, anybody else? Which one sets the trend? The day or the body? How can I stay stress-free with a bruises husband? I don't know what question you were trying to ask. You said an abusive husband or a bruises husband? Yes, the day. The day sets the trend. Okay? The day sets the trend that the body must try to follow or balance out. Okay? The day sets the trend. The body must balance that out. Okay? The day sets the trend. The body must balance that out. That's how you do that. If you're saying that you're waking up with an abusive husband, then you just got to leave his ass. I mean, I can't get no more straight up and down than that. If that's what you're trying to say, if you waking up to an abusive husband, you just got to leave his ass. I know it, Gaga. I know it's priceless. I just try to get them to see that for what they're getting, it's almost class A robbery. But at the end of the day, we got to make this effective and affordable for the least of us. Okay? Sherry, you heard that? Since you put that comment up there, if somebody's abusive to you, you need to get the hell on ASAP. And if you ain't got nowhere to go, there's shelters, there's all kind of places you can go and just reset for a little bit. You know, I know shelter ain't where you want to be, but it's better than sleeping with the enemy. Anybody else? We'll help you out in any form or fashion we can. Okay? This is the place where you can come to get that help. Love yourself enough to run away from toxic relationships. Yes, amen. And that, yes. You know how we be stuck, though. We be stuck like Chuck. whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, sometimes we be stuck like Chuck. So all you can do is just look for a reset, right? So even if you was on a job and you was frustrated, you'll take a day off or so. And that's just like a relationship. Sometimes you just gotta take a day off or so from that joker and reset. That's it. Take a day off or two from that joker and reset. Get your mind right. Figure out what you want to do. Figure out how you're gonna do it. Yeah, he probably paying all the bills. Yeah, it's gonna be a struggle. Yes, it's gonna be tough. Yes, it's gonna be rough. Yes, you're gonna cry. Yes, it's gonna hurt. But hey, it's no different than what you're already going through. So you just say, well, fuck it, since I'm gonna hurt either way, I might well hurt without you than with you. Okay? Yeah, just a little reset. That's all you want to do. That's it. And once you get them couple of days of being alone by yourself, you ain't been bothered, worried, beat on, cussed out, drug across the floor, this, that, and the third. Look, you it'll be hard for you to go back. Look, you was on the planet. I'm just gonna leave for 24 hours. But that 24 hours gave you enough power not to ever go back. Okay? So that's all you need is that breather. Because you can't think straight if you're overstimulated. You can't think straight when you cornered and when you're got a sporadic type of situation going on and the energy is just all over the place. You can't think straight. You can't reason. You can't logic the way that you need to because you're under pressure. Okay? So that's what you got to do. Just a little quick reset, Sherry. Okay? Just a little quick reset. And then get what? You'll know what to do. We ain't even got to tell you what to do. You're going to get what you need to do in the reset. Okay? But listen to what I'm telling you. One of these gifts is going to make room for you. I don't know. I don't forgot which one of yours was. But one of these gifts, if you know how to activate, they already activated. But now you just got to use them for your manifestation. You've been intelligent. This ain't the first time I told you. But you didn't know that you can use your smarts to make a living. You too busy trying to do something else. You might have knew that you was a communicator, you was very sociable, but you didn't know that you can create a life from it. You just thought you just like to run your mouth and talk shit. You didn't know that you could actually make a living off your intuitiveness and how you feel and empathetic about things. You didn't know that. So you just settled out of court for being a good friend, but you could actually be a good counselor. But you didn't know that. You didn't know you was a doer. But the thing about you is that you've been doing without no plan, without no blueprint. You've been doing without no details. So a lot of your shit that you've been doing, they you build it and it crumbles, build it and it crumbles, build it and it crumbles. Until you set plan, detail, and structure to the doer, man, you're gonna build that thing like a concrete fortress that can never be broken down. All you lack was detail here. This is how you get to where you're going. So now when you go to bed and you sleep tonight, you say, okay, I know that I'm intelligent enough to come up with the way. I know that I'm communicative enough, right? I'm communicative enough to speak the way in existence. I know that I'm intuitive enough to feel the way. I know that I'm structured enough to follow the plan that I set for my life, and my goals will be met. My life will change if I follow these particular giftings that I got in within me. My life will change. One of these will change my life. If you're dealing with cancer and you're trying to figure out how you're going to get over it, you're smart enough to find the cure. You're a great communicator enough to research it. Research the information. You'll get it. You're intuitive enough to find your way to the cure. Just feeling people. Oh, I heard him and I heard them and then I heard her and then I heard her. Something said this was the right person right here I need to talk to about my cancer. You'll feel your way to the, and if you down here, all you got to do is write out what it is that you need to be done. I need to starve it. Then I need to do this. Then I need to do that. And then as a doer, you follow that blueprint. You'll cure your own cancer. You'll cure your finances. You can heal your relationship with these things here. And this is how you rest better at night with a sun diet, sun exposure, and knowing your gifting so that you can rest easy. Remember, all we want is enough money to buy back our cognitive freedom. That's all we want. We just need enough money to buy back my cognitive freedom. I want to be able to think and do and be what I want to be and do without nobody having to say so on that. Just buy back your cognitive freedom, and I promise you, you'll be headed toward Wellville, USA. All right? So I'm going to let y'all go with that, man. If you guys need anything from me, again, you can go to our website and type in manual, blueprint, healer's package. Get what you need, panacea blend, et cetera, et cetera. If you're looking for a top detox, it's the 21-day detox, lymphatic cleanse, which is on the website as well. Just type in detox. Anything else, DM us or email us, and we'll get you what you need. We love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until next time, love HerbMan. Peace. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace, peace, peace.